Hi guys, so some pretty terrible news this morning as figures out from the National Office of Statistics claim the UK economy has not grown but flatlined. So this will mean that the Chancellor, who has said that in order to rebuild public services she will rely on growth, will now face a massive dilemma. Try something desperate to stimulate the economy or go down the dreaded road of austerity. The only political silver lining from the government is that it will take away the ridiculous narrative that the Tories left the economy in good shape. Sky had the news.
Breaking news to bring you now on the UK economy. Let's go live to our business correspondent Paul Kelso standing by for us. Hi Paul, tell us more. Morning.
We have the GDP figures for July. That's the size of the economy. Growth in the economy, was there any? No. 0.0 was the figure for growth in July. That's the second consecutive month of flatlining growth, none in June. It was a little bit of growth in the services sector, offset by declines in manufacturing and construction. It's a bit of a change in the economic weather in the wrong direction. The first 2 quarters of the year, the first half of this year, the economy has actually been growing, slightly defying the picture of a grim economic inheritance that the new government has put out. We've had a reaction from Rachel Reeves in a statement. She says she's under no illusions about the challenges that this reveals about the state of the economy. Here at Silverstone, we'll get a chance to talk to her directly this morning about what she plans to do to try and turn round the growth picture. Of course, this comes the morning after MPs voted to pursue the policy she set out earlier this year to cut winter fuel payments. That's to save £1.5 billion to try and fill the black hole she says she's discovered. But the bigger picture of these flat GDP figures suggests that it's going to take more than simply cutting services to try and get the economy moving. Somehow growth has got to be stimulated. And here at Silverstone, we'll hear how the government hopes to get on track.
Okay, look, we're going to see a vicious cycle here, it seems, where the government say, look, what we're going to do is we're going to link investment in public services to growth. But the problem with that is if you're not seeing growth, then you're not seeing reinvestment in public services. I think Rachel Reeves is putting the cart before the horse here. What she needs to do instead is pump money into public services, not talk about cutting them, as Paul has pointed out here. Because if you pump money into public services, you're going to attract investment. You can't rely on the private sector to drive investment because they need money from the public sector as well. So instead of cutting public services, you should be raising taxes, borrowing if necessary, to pump money into that public sector. Because as we know, when the government spend money, it attracts investment. Now, there are barriers, of course, to attracting investment, even if you were to pump money into the economy. Brexit, of course, this massive shadow over the UK economy, it creates barriers for businesses to attract the workers they need. And if they can't find the workers, they're not going to expand. This is not going to help the economy. And of course, when it comes to trade, Britain's biggest trading partner on its doorstep, there are barriers to that trade. So while the government can't do very much about the trade barriers, it can do something about the worker barriers. Change the visa system. Bring back something like freedom of movement. So you can bring the people in, businesses can access those workers, and they can plan for the future. They can expand their operations. Relying on the idea that what you can do is cut public services in order to save money and grow the economy is insane. We've seen it doesn't work. The Tories tried it with austerity, and now we're seeing the consequences of that. So businesses want to see the government invest in public services, invest in infrastructure, rebuild roads, build houses. But in order to do all of those things, you need workers and you need trade barriers and stuff like that brought down. So I think it's going to be very difficult for Rachel Reeves to grow the economy and then fund public services. She needs to fund public services first, and then the growth should follow after that. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.